Welcome to the NOLA.com Sports Rant on December 14, 2007. Today we're at Fat Harry's Bar and Grill on the corner of St. Charles Avenue and Napoleon Avenue. We'll be asking fans questions about their favorite local teams like the Saints, LSU, and the Hornets.
Is the Saints season over? The answer to that is no, because they have the power of the Houdat Nation behind them. And with the Houdat Nation behind them, the Saints can do anything that they need to be. Which goes on to, can they get better? Of course they can get better. With the Houdat Nation and the power of the fans behind them, it all comes down to execution and faith. And we have faith in this city. That's what we've lived on for the last 2 years since Katrina. And of course the Saints will do better. Alright, favorite player, Marcus Colston. He is the definition of what New Orleans is. He comes out of nothing and rises to glory. Glory, Internet. Glory. He's long, he's lanky, no one knows who he is, and he comes out of here and starts throwing these 100-yard games out of nowhere and just killing people. Alright. Sean Payton's play calling. I think that's a fair question. I'm alright with Sean Payton play calling because it's gutsy and it's ballsy. We've never had that before in our entire history. What we need to fix is our execution. The team gets distracted. They think, oh, you know, we're on this roll. They need to be humble. If this city can't make you humble, nothing else will. Alright. Anything I want to say to Joe Horn? I want to say I got love for Joe Horn because Joe Horn got screwed by the man. And when the man brings you down, that happens to all of us, so he's got to rise up above it. He's going to get screwed next year because Atlanta's going to wipe out their slate and he's not going to have a job again. So I say, Joe, just keep on trucking with it, man. I understand that and I like him. Saints' chances against the Cardinals. I mean, really, when it comes to a team like that, it all comes down to heart. We're both got the same record. We're both fighting for the same spot in the division. And it's a home game. The Cardinals have got to come into a hostile environment and they've got to come play a team that really, I think, wants to win more than they do. We had power last year. We've had moderate success this year. So, no, I think we're fine against the Cardinals. I'm not worried about that. Saints player that would make the best Santa Claus? I say Tom Benson. He's old. He's geriatric. I think Tom Benson would make a great Santa Claus, honestly. What do I want to rant about? I don't want to rant about anything. I just want to say I love the Houdat Nation, I love the Saints, and I love New Orleans. So, that's my piece.
The Saints, what do you think? Is their season over?
Well, if they play well and we get a little lucky with Minnesota losing a game, if we can win 3, we'll be there. But don't put your hopes up too high. You know, we had a great season last year. This year we've had injuries. We did not need to lose Deuce McAllister. And Reggie Bush is not an every down back. Right? You have to understand that. He's a scat back. He'd be better if they make him a receiver, put him opposite Colston. Nobody would know who to stick.
And what do you think they can do to get better, I guess, like right now with everything that's been going on?
Right now to get better, I think the coaches need to stop and think what calls we really need to make.
That's actually what I was going to ask. What do you think about Sean Payton's play calling?
For the most part, I love it.
Okay.
But you know, when you've got 3 minutes left in a game, you pound the ball up the middle. You've got Aaron Stecker, who is a great back. Pierre Thomas, who's a great back, that can run up the middle. They run north-south, not east-west.
Yeah. And what do you think the Saints' chances are this weekend against the Cardinals?
They have a good chance if we play defense. You know, we've got to shut down, what's his name, Kurt Warner, because he is a great quarterback as much as I hate him. Because one thing, folks, you have to remember, every time somebody scores a touchdown, the man upstairs doesn't care. He didn't bet on the game.
Anything else you want to rant about?
Yeah, I want to rant about one thing. All these so-called sports fans here in New Orleans, we've got a great basketball team going right now. We don't get anybody to the arena. Tickets are $10. Sit in the nosebleed section. You know, my buddy and I, we go to every game. We have a great time. And let me tell you something. I'd rather spend money with George Shin than the guy by the name of Tom Benson, because he puts on a great show and he's got a great product. So fans, come out and watch them basketball.
All right. What do you think about the Saints? Do you think their season's over, or what do you think their chances are for the rest of the season?
No, I think the Saints, they don't control their own destiny, but they can control, if they can win out games and somebody else loses for some other reason, they're in. And once you get the playoffs, all bets are off. I mean, you can advance. That's the bottom line.
That's got you going right now, like Bobby Petrino leaving the Falcons or anything? Or?
I like the fact that New Orleans is still in the hunt, and everybody's talking about what's going to happen, and it's this late in the season, and some cities don't have that. Miami, they don't care. Miami's looking at next year, you know.
ask you a couple questions. What do you think has been going on with the Saints this year? What do you think their chances are the rest of the year?
I think they have great chances this year. I think they've always had good chances. Ball hasn't bounced their way a couple of times. Drew Brees is credited with a lot of intercepts that were actually drop passes that really wasn't his fault. Bush playing hurt when he should have probably gotten that taken care of as soon as it happened. He'd probably be back now and we'd be making that strong push in December, but I think they'll be okay. I think they'll get the wild card.
What do you think their chances are this weekend against the Cardinals? What's the score outcome there?
I don't think they're going to manhandle them like they did the Falcons, but I'm predicting a pretty good game. I'm thinking 34-17.
All right, and talking about the Falcons, what would you like to say to Joe Horn right now, seeing as how the Saints did manhandle his team and now his head coach, Bobby Petrino's done?
I happen to know the guy. I like the guy. I'm sorry for the situation he's in. It's unfortunate. It's the rules of the game. It's just the way things happen. We'd love to have Joe Horn here. I don't care what his opinion of Sean Payton is. I happen to like Sean Payton, but I also happen to like Joe Horn. And sometimes he needs to shut up and not try to be T.O.
Big Hornets fan?
Huge Hornets fan.
All right. Well, what do you think about what's going on with the ticket sales?
It's not the Hornets. They're doing what they need to do. It's the local fans. It's an interesting scenario. They can't get that deal worked out with Charter, but the owner of the Portland Trailblazers happens to own Charter Communications, so he's actually hurting another NBA team, and somebody needs to call attention to that.
What do you think their chances are the rest of the season with everything that's happened with the Deuce and Bush going down?
Good. I mean, it's football. LSU just got in the last moment, didn't they? Through a lot of luck and a little prayer, and absolutely, you never give up till it's over, is it?
What do you think their chances are this weekend against the Cardinals? Do you think they're going to?
Very good. Very good. Their odds are better because they've lost more at home. So I'm going to be there screaming. So
seeing as how the Falcons are in our division and everything, and they had this big news. What do you think about the whole Bobby Petrino just kind of bailing on them and everything like that?
Well, I think he was a wimp. Yeah. You take a job, you finish your job, at least finish until it's over.
Yeah.
His bailing out. I mean, I understand why he did it. He wanted to go back to the college ranks, which is what he did well at. But you finish your job. You ought to take a lot of money back from him. That's for damn sure.
Yeah,
do I want to rant about anything?
Do you got anything you want to talk about?
One of the things about the Saints that I don't understand, there's another question on here about do I like Peyton's play calling? Yes, I like his play calling, but there are times when you need to be conservative, i.e. the Tampa Bay game when he did something razzle-dazzle. If it had worked, it would have been fabulous. It was still not the best call at the time. That being said, when Deuce was here, John Carney was blocking for him all the time. When Reggie Bush is in, they do the spread offense, and Reggie's back there by himself. I can't understand why you can't put Carney in front of Bush.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, for deceptive purposes, hand off to Carney and pitch back to Reggie and let him do that to me, the dichotomy of not letting Carney block for Reggie is, I know Reggie's an outside guy, he's a lot of receiver, but it's a play that needs to be called even for the deception person. So.
And is there anything you'd want to rant about in general, or anything with the Saints?
No, just, all those people last year that were on the bandwagon, God bless you. Go someplace else, but you know what? You never give up until the last play of the last game of the last minute. That's it. You never give up.